Nika Senju here, dropping another fire. What if you do end up liking this? We need 10 likes for part 2. Is called Naruto Uzumaki, the greatest prodigy. On the 10th of October, in the dead of the night, the most powerful Biju, Kyubi no Kitsune, attacked the hidden village of Konohagakure no Sato. Disaster struck as no one was able to stop the rampaging Biju. Many shinobi lost their lives in the process while almost half of the village was destroyed. That was until one man, the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, placed his life on the line to defeat the Biju and save his village. In the end, he was able to stop the Kyubi by sealing the Biju in a newborn baby, his own son, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, making him the next Jinchuriki of said Biju. Though, this was at the cost of his and his wife's life, leaving the boy to be raised alone. 6 years later, the wind was blowing gently as a young boy sat atop the Hokage monument. His shoulder-length spiky blonde hair was blowing gently behind him, bangs covering the right side of his face as his bright blue eyes were shining from the sun's rays. His skin was fair and his most noticeable features were the 3 whisker markings on each cheek. His signature of being a Jinchuriki. He was wearing a navy blue long-sleeve t-shirt with gray pants that ended just above his ankles, blue shinobi sandals to add to it. This boy's name was Naruto Uzumaki, a 6-year-old and the Jinchuriki of the most powerful Biju, the Kyubi no Kitsune. He was overlooking the village as he thought. He always did like to come up to this place to think and relax. It has always been a peaceful place for him. 2 weeks ago, the third Hokage told him that he has submitted his admissions form for joining the Ninja Academy, and now, from tomorrow on, he will be going to the academy to become a shinobi. His dream is to become the Hokage so that he can protect the village he loves so dearly. Along with his dream, he wishes to surpass the fourth Hokage and get acknowledged by everyone as someone important. He knows the villagers don't like him much for reasons unknown to him, and his Gigi also won't tell him. Every time he asks, the answer always remains the same. I will tell you when you are old enough to know the truth. He had already started his basic ninja training 2 years ago, and his Gigi has helped him with some basic taijutsu techniques. He is very good with shuriken jutsu and kunai throwing, as he had also trained his body quite well for speed and quick reflexes. From tomorrow on, he is going to take his first step towards his dream. He was still nervous just thinking about it. Normally he was very calm and insightful, it all starting from a young age, showing noticeable maturity and knowledge on how to deal with complex situations. At the same time, he is still a young boy, so it shouldn't come as a surprise to him to feel nervous. He lets out a sigh as he comes back from his thoughts. Blinking, he looks up, noticed that it was already dark as the sky was starting to fill with stars. He hadn't realized how long he had been sitting there. He was so lost in his confused thoughts that he didn't realize that a person was coming towards him from behind until the person spoke. "Ah, I knew I'd find you here, Naruto-kun." At hearing that voice, Naruto turned around and saw his surrogated grandfather, Sarutobi Hiruzen, the third Hokage of Konoha, standing with a kind smile. He was wearing his formal Hokage robes as his skin was light pale, gray hair slightly mussed. His face had wrinkles and liver spots, signifying his old age. "What are you doing here, Gigi? I thought you'd be busy with your paperwork," Naruto asked, surprise. On hearing about paperwork, Hiruzen's face twitches a little before he composed himself. "Don't talk about my paperwork, Naruto-kun, I swear it's a bane for all cages." Naruto just shook his head and turned around, looking over the village again, seeing the streetlights starting to light up. Hiruzen walked over and stood beside him before asked with concern. "Is something on your mind, Naruto-kun?" Naruto knew that he could always talk about anything with his surrogate grandfather. He was always concerned about him and helped him whenever he was in need. He also took him out to Ikiraku's for ramen whenever he could. He always looked for Naruto's best. Most importantly though, he is the only person he has in his life. Turning his face in Hiruzen's direction, Naruto replied, "I'm just a little nervous. Tomorrow is going to be my first day in the academy and first steps towards my dream. I am scared of failures." Listening to him, Hiruzen asked, "What is your dream, Naruto-kun?" Naruto was quiet for some time before answered him, I want to become a shinobi among shinobi, strongest of them all and surpass all the previous Hokages, becoming the strongest of them all. That is quite a big dream you have there, Naruto-kun, said Hiruzen, a gentle smile gracing his face. He knew that Naruto was a very talented kid, far more mature than the other kids his age. Hearing him say that he wanted to become Hokage, Hiruzen was happy for him. Why do you want to become the Hokage? I want to become the Hokage so that I can protect the village which the previous Hokages, along with many shinobi, have given their lives to protect. Then everyone will respect me and acknowledge me as someone. Naruto said, his voice firm and eyes determined. Hiruzen, hearing this from a 6-year-old boy and seeing the determination in his young eyes, was very impressed. To think that such a young boy can have a mindset like this at such a young age. At that moment, Hiruzen thought about the 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze, how proud he would be if he saw Naruto, his only son, and how well he is growing up as a person. Hiruzen knew that he was going to tell Naruto about his parents very soon. There was also the truth about the 9 tails being sealed inside of him. Sooner or later, he will have to tell him about everything. Getting out of his thoughts, he turned to his side with a big smile on his face. I'm impressed Naruto-kun, you're only 6 and know what it takes to be a Hokage. You already possess the will of fire. Hiruzen said with pride, gentleness, and pride shining in his old eyes. Naruto looked confused, not understanding what his Gigi was trying to imply. The will of fire. What does that mean? Seeing his confused face, Hiruzen's smile turned small as he turned around and looked over his village. The village is a big family. In here, everyone is family. The desire to protect one's family builds thicker and stronger bonds between everyone in the village. That is what the will of fire means. That is the job of the Hokage and every shinobi of the village. It is why we protect each other in our home. Now you understand Naruto-kun. What it means to be a shinobi and what it means to be the Hokage. Now understanding what it means to be a shinobi and what it means to be the Hokage, he smiles slightly. He looks over the village, seeing people walking the lightly lit streets, happily chatting with each other. Family. You always protect your family. Now, most importantly, realizing what the village means, he knew what he had to do in his life. Turning around to face the Hokage, Naruto said, I promise you Gigi that I will protect this peace. I will protect this village. I will do everything in my power to keep this place like this and protect my home. Should anyone try to harm it, whether they are my comrade, friend, even my family, I will show no mercy to them in defending it. I give you my word, Gigi. Naruto said, a strong conviction in his voice. Hiruzen's eyes were lightly wide as he was shocked at the words and promise Naruto made to him. You were meant for great things Naruto-kun, I can see it just by looking at you. Thought Hiruzen as his face mellows into a loving smile. Hiruzen patted Naruto's should. You will be a great shinobi and an even greater Hokage, Naruto-kun, I believe in you. Naruto's face brightened with a big smile at hearing his Gigi say he believes in him. Thank you, old man. I won't let you down. Hiruzen was happy to see Naruto happy. He then looks up, seeing the sky and realized it was getting late. Looking over to Naruto, Hiruzen continues. Come now, Naruto-kun, it's getting late and tomorrow is going to be your first day at the academy. You don't want to be late on your first day because of waking up late, do you? Hi, Gigi, said Naruto, he really doesn't want to be late on his first day in the academy. Come on, I'll treat you Ikirakus for dinner, said Hiruzen. Naruto happily complied and started to walk down the monument with his Gigi. Ikiraku's stand. The walk there was rather quiet. Naruto and Hiruzen just observed the lightly lit streets with people walking to and fro. Now, coming to stop at the Ikiraku's ramen stand, they both went inside and sat on the stools in front of the counter. Hiruzen cleared his throat to get the attention of Chuki, the owner of the shop, who turned around at hearing the noise. Coming over to the counter, he sees his favorite customer sitting with the 3rd Hokage. Hokage-sama, Naruto-kun, it's been a while. How are you both? Chuki asked, directing his question to Naruto. It hasn't been that long, old man. I've been busy with my training, responded Naruto, a small smile on his lips. He knew Tsuki and his daughter, Ayame, had always treated him well, considering him their best customer and sometimes even giving him free ramen on special occasions. He noticed that he also cared for him as he often asked him what was going on if he hadn't seen him in a while or if he was feeling down. So, what will you have, Hokage-sama? Naruto asked Tsuki. I'll have one bowl of pork ramen, please, said Hiruzen. I'll have the usual, old man, Naruto said calmly. One pork ramen and one Naruto special coming right up, said Tsuki as he walked to the back to prepare the ramen. After some time, Tsuki came back with 2 hot ramen bowls and set them in front of the two. Without wasting any time, both Naruto and Hiruzen with a quick, "Itadakimasu," before happily digging into their separate bowls. The three were chatting with each other for a while until a new voice got their attention. Naruto-kun, Hokage-sama, how are you? They soon found Ayame coming around the counter and standing with her father, the voice coming from her. She greeted them with a big happy smile on her face. She is 11 years old with long, dark brown hair and large black eyes, her skin fair. She was wearing a white robe with the sleeves folded, a sort of dark apron tied at the top and a bright bandana. I'm fine, Ayame-chan, how are you? Hiruzen asked the happy girl with a gentle smile. I'm also fine, Hokage-sama, replied Ayame before she turned towards Naruto and placing her elbows on the counter. Leaned forward, she asked him. So Naruto, tomorrow's going to be your first day at the Ninja Academy, are you done with your preparing? Naruto nodded and replied, Hi Ayame-ne-chan, I'm finished with all the preparation. That's good Naruto, do well with your academics, said Ayame. Naruto replied with a nod. I will. Yeah brat, become strong and make us proud, Tsuki said. Hiruzen smiled at seeing the interaction between them. He was happy that Naruto was able to create a bond with some people. He just hoped that he could also create some special bonds with children around his age. Seeing that Naruto had finished his ramen, Hiruzen stood up. Well, Tsuki, your ramen is as delicious as ever, but we should get going now. Naruto soon stood up as well, thanking the father and daughter for the ramen, who in return wished him luck happily. All the while, Hiruzen placed the money on the counter and walked out of the small restaurant with Naruto. They walked the street in silence until they arrived at Naruto's apartment. Well Naruto-kun, get a good night's rest and don't be late tomorrow, alright? Hi Gigi, I'll be on time, replied Naruto. Hiruzen nodded, satisfied, and said, I'll be going now, good night Naruto-kun, I'll see you tomorrow. Good night Gigi, replied Naruto before Hiruzen left the apartment building. After that, Naruto went inside his small apartment, which was decent and clean, and went towards his bathroom to freshen up before getting changed for bed. After finishing getting ready, Naruto went to bed, setting up his alarm clock for 5 a.m. and went to sleep. The next morning, Naruto woke up from the sound of his alarm clock ringing. He looked at the clock and thought that he still had some time before the academy started. He decided to get ready and went towards the bathroom to finish his morning routine. After cleaning up, Naruto came out from the bathroom with a towel wrapped around his waist. He dried himself with another towel as he grabbed his clothes. He wore high-collar half-sleeve navy blue t-shirt with the Uzumaki clan symbol, black pants and ninja sandals with it. He looked at himself in the mirror, seeing he looked decent and attractive. He then decided to check the academy books that the third Hokage had bought him before placing them in his school bag. After he was done, he looked at the clock and noticed that he still had some time before he had to go to the academy. Seeing as he still had time left, he went into the kitchen to prepare himself some eggs and toasts with milk for breakfast. Preparing breakfast soon reminded him of the time Gigi had taught him how to cook. Finishing preparing his breakfast, he went towards his dining table to eat. While eating, he decided to read a book on sealing for beginners, which was given to him by the third Hokage when he showed his interest in the sealing arts. He really wanted to know more about the sealing arts after learning that the second and fourth Hokage were very good at that art. He hadn't started practicing making the seals yet. The Hokage had warned him not to practice seals alone until getting a good understanding of it, along with making his handwriting better. Finishing his breakfast, he placed the book aside and went to wash his dishes. Soon finishing, he looked at the clock again and noticed that it was finally almost time for the academy to start. He went over and picked up his bag, walked out of the house and locking the door behind him. He decided to roof jump, seeing it would be faster than walking. He was soon jumping on the nearest building before jumping over to the next building, going progressively faster. Ninja Academy. 10 minutes later, Naruto arrived at the front gate of the academy. Without wasting any time, he went inside and noticed all the kids were around his age and standing in a group, facing the stage. Some academy teachers were standing around the stage, seemingly waiting for the third Hokage's arrival. He also noticed that behind the kids, parents and family members of the students stood calmly, some of the adults giving him dirty glares. He didn't pay them much mind as he walked to stand in the last line of the students in the back. A few minutes later, the third Hokage arrived in a shunshin and stood on the stage, gaining all the people's attention. Congratulations on your acceptance into the academy, everyone. From this day forth, do your best to reach your goals on becoming a shinobi of our village. You are all going to be the future of our village, so take your studies and training seriously. Do your best and good luck to you all. The Hokage finished his speech, a proud smile on his face. After the third Hokage finished his speech, all family members said their goodbyes before the teachers took the students away towards their classrooms. Arriving at the classroom, students took their seats and settles down. Naruto took a seat in the corner, near the window. Settling down, Naruto notices some of the girls were glancing at him. Naruto paid them no mind and looked ahead when the teacher opened the door and walked in. The teacher was an 18-year-old man of average height and build. He had brown hair that he kept up in a ponytail, dark brown eyes with a scar that ran across the bridge of his nose. He wore the standard Konoha shinobi outfit, complete with forehead protector, sandals, and a chunin flak jacket. His sleeves were also rolled up about halfway. He came to stand in front of the students and, after glancing over everyone, started with his introduction. Good morning, students, my name is Iruka Yumino. You will be calling me Iruka-sensei from now on. Getting a chorus of, "Hi sensei," Iruka continued. Very well then, we will start with the introductions first. Just telling us your name and dreams will be all right. He then pointed at the first row of students to start. As the class continued with the introduction, Naruto looked at everyone and noticed that there were a lot of clan kids. The Nara, Akamaiki, Yamanaka, Aburame, and Uchiha, as well as some kids from civilian families. Seeing that it was now his turn for introduction, he stood up. My name is Naruto Uzumaki and my dream is to become the Hokage and protect the village hidden in the leaves. Finishing with his introduction, Naruto sat down and noticed that everyone was looking at him with surprise, some hiding it better than others. Paying them no mind, Naruto looked outside at the birds sitting in a tree. Soon, the introductions were over, making Iruka smile at them. Okay class, before we start with our lecture, I wanted to say that I'm sure some of you have already been taught ninjutsu in your household. Here at the academy though, you will also be trained in coordination and working together as a team when you are in a group. The fundamentals are very important, so make sure you learn them well. Now then, our first lecture is going to be on history, said Iruka. The lecture went without any incident, though, throughout the lecture Iruka was very impressed with Naruto as he was able to answer every question that he asked him. After a small break, Iruka called for everyone's attention. Come on students, gather up in a line. We are going out for shuriken and kunai practice. Iruka took all the students towards the academy training grounds. There, in the training grounds, were training posts for target practicing as well as a few buckets of shuriken and kunai. Iruka took them there and showed them how to handle and throw kunai and shuriken. He told them to start practicing before going and standing on the sidelines, observing everyone. When he noticed Naruto, he was once again very impressed with Naruto's skills in. To think that he was throwing 4 kunai at the same time and hitting the center of the target every time. He decided to walk over to him for a small chat. Naruto was throwing kunai when Iruka showed up with a smile. You are very skilled with kunai and shuriken throwing, Naruto. Naruto looks at him and replied. Hi sensei, I have been training in my alone time. Well, I must say Naruto, I'm impressed you're taking your training seriously at such a young age. said Iruka. Naruto just nodded with a small smile. Well, Naruto, if you ever need any help, you can come to me, alright. Iruka knew that Naruto didn't have many people in his life and some of the villagers also didn't treat him well because of him being the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Iruka never did hold any grudge against Naruto as he knew the difference between the demon fox and Naruto. He knew that Naruto was the one who was keeping the fox at bay and protecting the village. He really wanted to help him because Iruka knew that Naruto was just a lonely kid who didn't have many people to support him. Iruka himself had lost his parents in the Nine Tails attack so he could understand him a little. Naruto nodded and smiles again. Hi sensei, I will. Thank you, replied Naruto. He was happy that his sensei is willing to help him and was not like some of the other villagers. Iruka just smiled and nodded before going to observe the other students, helping some who were having a problem doing it properly. After about 30 minutes, Iruka gathered all students around in a big circle and said, "It's time for taijutsu lessons. Before that though, is there anyone who's up for a spar?" After a few seconds, one of the students walked forward and stepped into the middle of the circle with his arms crossed and an arrogant smirk on his face. Seeing that Iruka need one more student for the match to start but no one was volunteering, he decided to choose himself. He looked over everyone before deciding to call on Naruto. Come on Naruto, you're up. Naruto walked forward, stepping into the circle. He came face to face with his opponent, his face relaxed as the rest of his body. The other kid looks him over with arrogant eyes. You should give up Blondie, you don't stand a chance against an Uchiha. You won't be able to touch me. Naruto looked at him from head to toe and then he looked at Iruka, wondering when he was going to start the match. Seeing his look, Iruka sighed. Okay, both of you, before we start the spar you both need to make a proper confrontation with your dominant hand before you two begin. It's proper edicts, the Uchiha kid interrupted Iruka's speech rudely. Come on sensei. Just start the match already so I can show him his place, trying to act cool in front of everyone. Iruka sighed frustratingly. Enough Uchiha-san, shinobi hand-to-hand combat is a tradition passed down from generation to generation. You might think it's stupid to act formal but here at the academy, we have respect for tradition. Then Iruka showed them the proper sign. First, you have to make sure you face your opponent and point one hand at him. It signifies the first half of making jutsu seals with both hands, and it shows your willingness to fight. This is full etiquette of the shinobi pair sparring. Iruka explained. Naruto and the Uchiha both nodded. Both the children made the proper one-hand seal in front of each other. Seeing this, Iruka started. Both fighters ready. Seeing them nod, Iruka continued. Hajime. The Uchiha wasting no time, running towards Naruto with a punch aimed at his face. Naruto just stood there waiting for him. When the Uchiha came near Naruto, he grabbed his wrist and flipped him on his back, holding his arm, his head rested on Naruto's feet. The match is over, Iruka said, shock present in his voice. He was surprised at how quickly Naruto had finished the fight. All the other students were also looking at him in amazement and shock. Some of the girls even had hearts in their eyes as they cheered for him. Wow, Naruto-kun is so strong. He's so cool. Go, Naruto-kun. The girls cheered for him loudly. The Uchiha, coming out of his shock, stood slowly and glared at Naruto. Iruka, seeing this, came between them. Good match you two, now both of you offer each other the seal of reconciliation. Both of the boys crossed their middle and index finger with each other as a reconciliation seal, the Uchiha looking like he swallowed a lemon all the way. The rest of the day went uneventfully at the academy. As the academy ended, Naruto decided to head towards the Hokage Tower to visit the third Hokage. Hokage Tower. Arriving at the Hokage Tower, Naruto went up the stairs, soon coming to a stop at the Hokage's door. Naruto knocked on the door a couple of times before the Hokage's voice came from the other side. Come in. Naruto opened the door and stepped inside. Hiruzen looked up from his paperwork, smiling at seeing Naruto. Naruto-kun, how was your day at the academy? Naruto closed the door behind him before speaking. Gigi, can you teach me some jutsu? Hiruzen pauses in his paperwork, looking confused for a moment before continuing. Aren't they teaching you that in the academy? But Gigi, it's too easy with what they were teaching there. I did everything the sensei asked me to do very easily, and I even beat an Uchiha in today's spar," said Naruto, a frown tugging his face. Hiruzen listened to him before he smiled proudly at him. He stood up from his seat and walked up to him, patted him on the head. "Well done, Naruto-kun, you're quite talented for your age. However, I can't teach you much as it will be unfair to the other students, and as Hokage, I can't show favoritism to anyone." Naruto was upset but nodded in understanding. Seeing the sad look on Naruto's face, Hiruzen felt bad for Naruto. He knew the others in the academy had the backup from their clans and can learn from their parents. Hiruzen walked back to his desk and opened one of his drawers. He took out a couple of scrolls and gave them to Naruto. "Here, take this scrolls, they have some advanced chakra control exercises and a couple of academy-level jutsu in them. It will help you in the future." Naruto's eyes lit up as he took the scrolls with a large grin. "Thank you, Gigi." Hiruzen chuckled a little, sitting back down. "Well, you can ask me for anything, alright." Naruto nodded and said, "Okay, I'll see you later, Gigi. I'm going to get some training done." Hiruzen nodded to him with a smile before getting back to work. Naruto left the office to get to the training ground, excitement coursing through him. Naruto soon arrived at the training grounds near the forest. He always came here to train, not many people came around there so he can train here without being disturbed. Coming to a stop at the opening, Naruto decided to open the scrolls to see what techniques he had to practice. Opening the first scroll, Naruto started to read the 3 techniques written down. Transformation Jutsu, Substitution Jutsu, Fire Style Fireball Jutsu, both E rank and 1C rank. Not bad. He started reading the description of the justice, trying to fully understand them. The first one was the Transformation Jutsu. Transformation Jutsu. This jutsu allows the user to transform either themselves or another object into the appearance of another person, animal, or object. This is one of the basic jutsu taught at the Ninja Academy. Fundamentally, all ninja know this jutsu. The transformation technique requires constant emission of chakra while mentally maintaining the form. The hand seals required for this are dog boar ram substitution jutsu. With this technique, the user replaces their own body with another object, generally with a log, the moment an attack is about to land. This creates an optical illusion, making the enemy think the attack was successful. From this, the user can use the lapse in the enemy's attention to attack or flee from the battlefield. Explosive tags can be attached to the replacement for an added surprise. Despite it being a basic ninjutsu taught at the academy, it is seen as a useful art that can be applied in a variety of situations as it allows for a swift getaway from danger. This technique even allows a restrained shinobi to escape capture. Fire-style fireball jutsu is a technique where chakra is converted into a fire from the inside and expelled from the mouth, either as a massive sphere or as a continuous flame. The released flames will engulf their target and are capable of leaving a crater in the ground's surface with enough force. The scope of this attack can be altered by controlling the volume of chakra that is mustered. The required hand seals for the jutsu are tiger or snake ram monkey boar horse tiger. Finished with the first scroll, Naruto then opened the second scroll. In the scroll were the techniques on how to better control your chakra. First one was leaf balancing. He had already learned this technique when he first started his ninja training 2 years ago. The second one was the tree walking exercise without the use of hands, by concentrating chakra at your feet and moving up. The third one was the water walking exercise. It was similar to the tree walking exercise but the more advanced version of it. Naruto decided to first start with the chakra control exercise. As it said in the scroll, the better your control is, the better your success rate of your jutsu is without you wasting unnecessarily chakra. With that, he started his training for the rest of the day. To be continued. Nika Senju here with another fire what if. Reach 10 likes for part 2. Remember to subscribe and turn post notifications on so you don't miss it.